Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Content Creation Lab. So, you've made it to day 4. But before we dive into today's topic, we're going to take care of some housekeeping, which probably wasn't done over the last 3 days, but it just, want to make certain that everyone is aware of where we are and what we got going on. But my name is Janice. I am your online course creation and content strategist. I'm also the owner of Hills Leadership and Training Institute, where we specialize in all soft skill training as well as customized training for your business. If you are an author, if you're a coach, or if you're a business owner looking to create online courses to add those additional streams of income to your business, feel free to reach out to me. You can do so by, hitting me up in the back channels here on Clubhouse, by contacting me at my email, which is contact at the letter J hillstraining.com. And I would love to talk to you about any training needs you may have for yourself or for your business. So, in our 5-part series, right, which is what we currently are, going through. Today is day number 4, and then of course tomorrow we will have our final piece of content. We started our discussion really recognizing our target audience, and then of course we moved into the planning and structuring the content by using our content buckets. Yesterday, we talked about incorporating visual designs into our content to make it more appealing to our potential audience. And today, we're going to talk about creating those amazing descriptions for your content, right? If you have not done so already, go ahead and make certain that you download the workbook, which is available by clicking the link in the description of this video or by clicking the link on the message board inside of Clubhouse. The workbook is essential in incorporating a lot of the information that we're going to be discussing during the training, as well as information that we're going to discuss, tomorrow. So definitely make certain that you grab your workbook. This training, just like all of the previous training, is going to be available on our YouTube channel, and it's going to, of course, be free. Only thing you have to do if you want to look at all five videos is click on the playlist in YouTube, and then you can watch them in sequential order. If you're following me here on Clubhouse, great. Also, remember to go ahead and become a member of the house. And don't forget, this is something I didn't mention, but definitely subscribe if you're on YouTube or if you're listening to me on my in my podcast on either of those particular platforms. Definitely make certain that you subscribe to the channel. So again, I want to say thank you for joining us, and we're going to go ahead and get started, right? Because I promise a 15 to 30 minute training session always with our Lunch and Learn. So today we're going to talk about how can we create descriptive or effective descriptions, right? And we're going to talk about it today without using AI. Now, AI is artificial intelligence, and I think, it's very difficult to have a conversation about any kind of writing and or any kind of content development without incorporating AI. And that's why I'm going to have a separate training on the use of various forms of AI to help you create your content. So today we're going to talk about creating really good writing or really good descriptions for your content without the AI. Now, you will be able to use some of these same tips and techniques that we're going to talk about when you incorporate the use of AI into writing your descriptions, but it's always better to begin at the foundation or to have this information as your own knowledge before you begin to incorporate any kind of artificial intelligence into the mix. Okay, so the first thing that we talked about on Monday, which is one of the things that you're going to find is mentioned throughout the duration of the 5-day series is basically getting to know your audience. Because if you don't know where your buyers are located or how to reach them, then it doesn't matter how amazing your content is. It doesn't matter, that you're using all the proper tips and techniques. It's not going to really go anywhere, right? So we want to make certain that we understand the demographics, the interests, and of course the pain points so that we can create the proper messaging, right? And so we can do this just like we talked about on Monday by creating your avatar. And when we think about our avatar is going to be that semi-fictional representation of your ideal client, right? And this is, of course, where you're going to talk about, all of those things, right? Any kind of behavior patterns. You're going to think about anything that motivates them, any of their goals, right? Go ahead and give them a name. Let them know that, you are taking into account the full person. So we talked about this on Monday, so I'm not going to do a full-on recap. I'm just going to highlight a couple of the areas that you want to keep in mind as you're thinking about your audience when you're developing your descriptions for your content. So of course, you always want to make certain that you identify those commonalities, right? And those are going to be things like age, gender, location, education levels, those types of things, right? You want to make certain that you create your avatar. Your avatar is going to be your ideal customer. You're going to give them a name, give them a job title, give them some personal characteristics, right? Make certain you understand their goals, their challenges, and of course, their pain points. And then you're going to tailor your content. And tailoring your content is making certain that your content is going to be of interest to your avatar, right? So if you are creating an avatar that enjoys reading, then you may incorporate, the latest New York bestsellers list or something, right? So you want to make certain that you're using content that is going to resonate with your potential audience. The second thing that we want to kind of keep in mind as we're developing our descriptions for our content, and we're going to have 7 total that we're going to talk about today. But the second thing is we want to make sure that we're using clear and concise language, right? When we talk about clear and concise language, we want to make sure that we're focusing on the main points. That's identifying whatever's going to be important in the messaging, right? We're going to focus our descriptions on that. We're going to talk about those benefits. We're going to make certain that we're answering any questions, right, that may come up. We also want to make certain that we're using strong verbs. Verbs that are strong usually indicate that there's some kind of action that you want someone to take. There may be even some kind of urgency or some kind of excitement that those words will basically produce. The more you can use strong verbs, the better it'll be, because that is going to encourage your audience to kind of take some actions. You also want to make certain that you're using or you're avoiding, any kind of jargon and buzzwords, right? Avoid them because it could confuse your audience. We think everybody is as hip as you are or as cool as you are, or know and understand the most recent or current slang, if you will, but that may not be the case. And so you want to make certain that you are not using jargon that is only going to be known in a very small fraction of your target audience. But if it is something that does resonate with your audience, if you have a particular niche, then definitely use it. But you want to weigh those the reasons why you're using it all together. You want to make sure that you be specific, right? This is going to help your audience understand what your content is really about and whether or not it's relevant to them, right? Because people don't want to waste their time. You want to test your different variations. And this is, of course, maybe having a test group A, test group B, and a test group C, just to see which one of those test groups the information is resonating the best with them, right? Basically, when we talk about making certain that we are using clear and concise language, just like we always say, the first impression, is a lasting impression. We want to make certain that our first impression, in terms of coming into contact with a new audience or with your intended audience, that you are creating, an interaction that is going to be short and sweet, right? And also that's going to capture their intention, and then of course encourage them to engage with your content. All right, number 3 is going to be we want to highlight our features, right? When we're talking about in terms of highlighting our features, we want to make certain that we are covering any kind of anything that's going to be of interest to our potential audience, right? We want to make certain that we're using those relevant keywords, right? And you can start by researching what are some relevant keywords, and inside of various platforms. You can use Google Keyword Planner, which is probably the most popular because Google has and holds a lot of information about individuals who are potentially doing the exact same thing you are. You want to make certain that you use long tail keywords, and long tail keywords, they're actually more specific and they target they target a particular segment versus those generic keywords, right? And they also have a lower search volume. So that means whenever someone runs across your potential content and it's in regards or in use of that particular long tail keyword, then it's more of a possibility that that is going to be much more representative of who is looking for your information. Use keywords naturally, right? We want to avoid using any kind of content with too many keywords in it because it can hurt our search inside of the search engine. And if it's too many keywords, then what is really the most important thing that you're trying to relay, right? Um, so in saying don't use too many, make it natural, we also want to make certain we're prioritizing keywords because there could be a possibility that, there are several different high, visible visibility in terms of the keywords that you're using, but maybe there is an order of preference or an order of priorities. And then remember the search intent, right? Because our goal is to get our content in front of individuals, and we can only do that if we are, given an opportunity through the various means inside of the platforms, which normally centers around some kind of search engine. So we want to make certain that, we're using keywords that's going to have that's contained within our descriptions, and that it resonates with our audience and that is relevant to whatever visual image that we are currently utilizing. So what do we want to do? We want to make sure that we're researching the keywords, the most effective ones, that we're creating content descriptions that have relevant and specific keywords, right? And that is going to be in the hopes and, of course, in the objective to ensure that the content is visible to our target audience. All right, the next thing that we're going to talk about, number 4, is going to be highlight your unique value, right? So you want to make certain that you are setting your particular content in your description apart from your competitors or anyone else who is doing the same thing. So what value does your potential content offer that others doesn't? What's unique, or what kind of insight or perspective do you bring to the table, right? Now, to highlight this, you can follow a couple of simple steps, right? You can identify your unique proposition. And that is, of course, start by, making certain that people understand what sets you apart from someone who's offering the information on that same topic. You want to make sure that you use your unique percept, your unique approach, if you will. And of course, you're using some kind of different angle to highlight those key benefits. You want to focus on the benefits, right? Highlight your unique benefits. I'm going to say that several times in this particular section because you want to stand apart from your competitors. You want to stand apart from those individuals who are basically offering the same thing, right? Because even though they do offer the same or similar type services or products, you're still you. So what makes you unique? It could be your story, right? It could be, how or your process, right? What makes your potential product or your possible customer remember who you are? Be clear and concise. We talked about this on yesterday when we were talking about messaging with visual content. Same difference when we're talking about the descriptions. Want to make certain we are able to relay our intended message. Want to make certain we test and refine, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later as an overall process for any kind of descriptions that we're setting. Essentially, you want your content descriptions to have some way of differentiating it from others within that same topic, right? You want to be able to attract your clients to you because of your unique story, who you are. So you want to make certain that you are sharing the benefits. And this, of course, is because we want to increase our engagement. We want to make certain that we are sharing and that we're converting, right? That our content is converting. All right, so number five. Number 5, it's going to be focused on benefits, right? So as we're writing our course description, we're going to take time to make certain that our benefits are being highlighted, right? We're going to make certain that we are addressing whatever problem is that we're solving, whatever skill the potential audience is going to be learning, right? How is this going to improve their life? How is this going to improve their current situation? And we're going to highlight these things so that the intended audience understands it, right? So we're essentially talking to their pain points. And the benefit of identifying the pain point is because now you have an opportunity to, talk to your potential customer about how you can basically get rid of that issue that they're dealing with. And that's going to get, if not nothing else, at least their attention, right? So know what kind of problem you're trying to solve, right? Make sure that you understand whatever the challenges are that they're facing, and then of course use this information to create the content that is going to address their needs. You are coming from this as a problem solver, okay? Whenever you're thinking about creating or writing your descriptions, you are essentially saying, I am going to help you solve this problem. And you want to frame your content description around the solution to the problem that your audience is facing, right? This is going to help them understand the value of your content. Now, you're not going to come out and say, I'm going to help you remove your warts, right? But you could say, I'm going to help release the beauty inside, or something similar to that. And then of course from there, that is the pain point. I don't feel beautiful, right? Why don't I feel beautiful? Because I have warts, right? And then of course from there, now you are addressing or providing a solution to helping someone feel beautiful. So highlight those key benefits. That's going to be key. Highlight it. Your audience want to know, and they don't want to have to dig around inside of your description to find out what exactly it is that you can do, or how you can help them, right? So you want to bring forth any kind of insight, you want to bring forth any kind of actionable tips, you want to bring forth any kind of expert advice that you will provide to them, right? How do we do this? By using persuasive kind of language, right? And persuasive language begins with those action verbs that we talked about a little bit earlier. So some of the words that you may find in the persuasive language is going to be discover, it's going to be learn, it's going to be uncover, right? You want to make your description as engaging as possible. So always start with the verb. Verb mean action. I want you to do something. And then, of course, you want to be specific, right? Give examples, provide detail, illustrate the benefits inside of your content description. Let them know when you do this, your life will change. When you do this, you will not be the same. When you do this, you're going to wonder why it took you so long to say yes, right? So you want to make certain that you are very specific and that they understand what that benefit is and how it's going to look once it's incorporated. So focus on your benefits in your content descriptions. Make certain that your audience do not have to search around for it, that they can find it fairly easily, right? And make certain that you are creating some type of forward movement or action. Use the action verbs. Use them, use them, use them, use them. Okay, number 6, right? Use action-oriented language. Go directly into our next topic. And, of course, when we talk about action oriented language, we are talking about those action verbs that we mentioned a little bit earlier. But now we're really going to be very specific in terms of what kind of verbs are we using. So we talked about a few from earlier, which was discover, learn, uncover, right? Explore, try, get, find out, ooh, all of those things that kind of create a sense of urgency, a sense of immediate need. And so you can find a list of these types of verbs on the internet. There are also books. A lot of people who are in the habit of writing sales or in copy writing, they are masterful in incorporating these verbs into the sales page and those other sales material. That's what we want. We want to be experts for our own brand and how to create the perfect sales copy, right? All right, so include a call to action. If you never instruct someone to do or to, excuse me, to download your free gift, or you never instruct them to sign up for your newsletter, chances are they probably will not, right? If you can remember, I started this particular audio with, hey, remember to Follow me on Clubhouse. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember to, subscribe to my podcast. I want to be connected to you. I don't want to just be, a person that you kind of see today and tomorrow you forget about. So make certain that you have some kind of call to action. Focus on benefits, right? When using action oriented words in your content description, focus on the benefits. That goes back to what we talked about. Discover the secrets to better sleep. Yeah, right. Learn how to grow your business. Yeah, right. And then, of course, once you give them what they want, then turn around and give them what they need, right? And that's where all the other details that you're going to provide to them is going to be. All right, use power words. Power words are words that's going to invoke strong emotions. And of course, those words are things like proven, effective, amazing, game changer, right? You hear a lot of people talking about how whatever it is they do, this is going to be a game changer, right? Meaning that you will not remain the same once you do this. And you want to be concise, right? Short and concise statements. This is where you're going to get to the point. This is where you're going to make your content description more readable and easier for your audience to understand. Okay. Now, I may actually do a class on using action oriented language, and that will be a pulled out class, something that we'll probably do in about a 45 to 90-minute session. But it's so vital to have the ability to cause or to evoke emotions for people to actually take actions. Okay. Now, number 7, which is our final one, right, which is going to keep us within our 15 to 20-minute time frame, is test and refine, right? So we have come to the end of our writing and we don't want to stop. Right? We don't want to say, okay, I'm all done. I don't have anything else to do. We want to keep going because we want to test our writing for our content, and then we want to refine it, right? So it's never done. It's almost like a continuous experiment that we're working, right? Different approaches to see what is going to work best for our audience. You want to make certain that whatever platform you're using in social media, that you're using the analytics, right? You're using Google Analytics as well. You're using the social media analytics. You're using your email analytics, right? You want to look at the metrics like how many click-through rates, what is my click-through rate? What is my rate of engagement? What is my rate of conversion, right? You want to understand how well your particular content is performing. And a lot of times it's going to come down to the visual and of course the description, right? And because if you can't get past those two things, or if those two things are not drawing in your audience, they're definitely not going to find out what else you have to offer. So visual and of course description. You want to experiment with different approaches. You want to try different approaches to your content description. You want to see what works best, right? So you could try different headlines, you can try different keywords, you can try highlighting different benefits. And then, of course, that's going to go into your A/B testing. You conduct A/B testing by creating two different versions of your content description and testing them against each other. This is going to help you identify, well, which version is more effective in engaging with your audience, right? And then after you have done that, you're going to refine your approach. Based on your results from your testing, you're going to refine your approach to your content description, right? You're going to use those highlights you've gained to create more effective descriptions in the future, right? And then, of course, you can always have the continuous, well, you always are going to have continuously a continuous testing and refinement, right? So that means you're going to always be looking for the best approach to optimize your content for maximum engagement and conversion, right? So testing over time, refining continuously. It's a continuously ongoing process because your goal is to improve your content performance, increase your traffic to your potential social media platforms or website, and of course, achieve your business goals, right? So, you guys, that's it. That's it. That's our whole session for today for how to write effective course descriptions, right? And this is, of course, without AI. So, whenever we're thinking about crafting an effective course description, it's going to be very important to capture the attention of your target audience, right? By knowing your audience, by using short and sweet, content, using those relevant keywords, highlighting your unique value, right? Focusing on your benefits, okay? Using action-oriented words, and then of course continuously testing and refining your approach, right? You can create descriptions that resonate with your audience and drive engagement and conversion. This will help you, right? And this particular hey, how you doing? Welcome to the room. I'm actually getting ready to close, but this particular piece of information is going to be very key. Descriptions are very key. Just like on yesterday when we talked about visual content, how important it is for your content in terms of the visual creation of it to resonate with your intended audience, so is your description, because those two elements is going to get the person into your fold, right? That'll get that'll get them on your email list. That'll get them buying your particular process. So you definitely want to do that. So again, this has been the Content Creation Lab. Thank you so much for stopping by or for listening to this on replay, YouTube, or on my podcast. Definitely, if you have not done so, make certain that you're following me here on Clubhouse. Make certain that you are a member of the house. Make certain that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and or podcast. And this way, you will always have information whenever there's new content being added. Again, thank you so much. Today was day number 4 inside of our 5-day Lunch and Learn series. And today we talked about creating effective course descriptions without AI. We will have another class, or we will have another training on creating effective descriptions with AI, but that will be a little bit later, okay? And with that, I am going to close this room in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. On tomorrow, we will have an opportunity to finish up our 5-day lunch and learn. I'm sorry, I said I was going to close it, but I want to go ahead and give you what's happening on day number 5. So on day number 5, we are going to be talking about marketing your content, which is going to be our final subject for our lunch and learn. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.